So, folks, I just wanted to record this video on social media. Ha! The modern day phenomenon that we are all pretty much enrolled in or participating in to one degree or another, especially those of us that are entrepreneurs or business owners in an effort to market our brand and develop our brand and get exposure. It's actually one of the cheapest ways to market ourselves and get our product or service out there, without having to pay somebody ungodly amounts of money. And sometimes it takes a little longer when you don't pay somebody that specializes in how to promote you on social media. And nevertheless, it still works if we stick with it and are intentional and really are about, filling a need in society that we don't see being filled, and using social media as a tool to accommodate that. So it's like today, it's funny. I had a talk with a client of mine. I'm a health and wellness coach and nutritionist. You can check me out on Instagram at Your Holistic Nutritionist, and you can find me on Facebook at Dean the Nutritionist. So talking to one of my clients today, and he talks about how it came up in conversation about how social media, because I just opened up my Facebook account again after having it shut down for about, golly, a little over a month. And it was largely because of Mercury in retrograde. I'm very much into metaphysics. And when Mercury is in retrograde, if you know anything about that, Mercury is the planet of communication. And so when Mercury is in retrograde, which happens like more often than almost any other planet in the all of the constellations or star system or whatever it's called. I don't remember the exact term. It can actually cause breakdowns in communication. It can cause things to be taken out of context or misconstrued, or a person will say something and they'll say it the way they intended for it to be said. And then because of maybe certain configurations in your astrology chart or their astrology chart, it will actually cause a breakdown in the communication where you may misinterpret what they said or take it completely out of context. I'm telling you, this stuff is something else, So the universe has a sense of humor, maybe even a twisted sense of humor, one might say. So that said, I just opened up my Facebook account again today, and I started once to just delete it, period, because I was like, what's the point? The problem is I made the mistake of, and I'm still becoming more technologically literate. I made the mistake of attaching my business account to my personal account. I didn't know that they were tied together. So in other words, when I shut down my personal page, it actually shuts down my business page, which is not good for a person in business. I'm out to acquire clients and make a difference in the world and continue to get my message out, And so that was my flawed understanding of technology and how it works. So that said, from different points of view, I was like, and with everything that's going on in the world, I'm like, I have a message that's a valuable message that I know a lot of people can get something from. And so it's actually a disservice for me to not be on that platform right now. I've been pretty active on Twitter, and I have, of course, this YouTube channel now, and I have my podcast on Anchor, the Anchor app. And then, of course, I'm on LinkedIn, right? And it's really about being able to manage all of this stuff because just one quick point. The blue light that comes from these things actually interferes with melatonin. It interferes with the balance of melatonin in our body. And also it affects serotonin and like cortisol levels. It can throw us off, right? The point I'm speaking to is that it can affect our sleep because it gives our brain the impression that it's still daylight outside. So I'm recording this video fairly late in the evening. So the point I'm speaking to is the fact that it's a necessary evil. It's a necessary service or product that is social media to promote our brand and to get our message out to the world. And so it's really just about being able to be disciplined and not pick up the phone first thing in the morning and just zap ourselves and not zap ourselves, 2 or 3 hours before we're supposed to go to bed at night. Because again, it throws off the receptors in the brain and having us think that it's still daylight. And then if that's the case, then we're eating when we really shouldn't be eating, because truthfully, you should only eat when there's sunlight out. And so people are eating at all times of the day and night now because their hormone receptors and neurotransmitters, all that stuff is just out of whack. I know, because I've been one of them. I'm still working to have a breakthrough in that. And, the tricky part for me is that, I use this platform to promote my business. And so that said, and talking to the client of mine and actually a friend of mine as well, it just really, he shared this because I said, it seems to me like Facebook people are more like looky-loos, as another friend of mine on Facebook says. They don't really want to comment or say anything. They just want to see what you're doing just so they can feel, I guess, somewhat connected to you. But they won't pick up the phone and call you. And that's just weird to me. I know people from years ago, not naming any names, who will, check me out on Facebook, but won't pick up the phone and call me. And I'm like, that's not, we're supposed to be friends. Friends actually have conversation. Virtual interaction is not the same as actually picking up the phone and calling somebody or meeting somebody face to face, person to person. It's a whole different ballgame. And the one thing I like about Twitter, people are just raw. They don't sugarcoat stuff. It's not a politically correct platform. At least most of the people that I check out. And I actually dig that because they just tell it like it is. They're just straight about it. Whereas on Facebook, it seems like people are more image conscious. It's more just about posting pictures and photos. And that's cool, but I'm on there to build something. I'm on there to get related to people and what they're creating in the world to see if we could possibly do business together, or maybe I can broker a deal, to get them in partnership with somebody else that I know that has a product or service that can benefit what they're doing, And so I'm not just on there just to be, punching keys and just kind of passing the time. It's literally a way to market myself and my service. And I remember watching this video with Grant Cardone, if you're familiar with him at all. He's very successful in the real estate industry and, has been doing a lot of big events lately with a lot of, name celebrities or whatever. Not like that matters, but, I guess in a way it does. The point is, he said when he was in the car industry selling cars, and it was around the time I think the markets collapsed back in 2008. And I think he was in Louisiana, he said at the time, people in that space knew about him and they definitely supported him. And at the same time, when it came to like on a larger scale, and because sales, I guess, were starting to dry up because of the economy, he was like, not enough people know about me. How can I get my name out there? How can I market my product or service, And then he thought about it, asked around, and I guess that was when YouTube was still in its infancy or something like that. And he just started posting on YouTube. YouTube became his platform of choice to start marketing his area of expertise, or the fact that he's an authority in a particular space, like, being a top level car salesman, or in this case, moving to real estate and, causing, major money moves to happen and deals to get done in that space. And when I saw that, I was like, that makes sense, So it's like, it's all in how we use it. And it's nothing wrong with people that want to, I guess, just observe. I know I've been one of those people most of my life. And at the same time, to me, that doesn't work, as I have evolved and grown, in the sense that if you're really up to something in the world, it's not about being a spectator. It's about getting on the court and playing the game called life, and playing it to accomplish what you set out to accomplish, and, just watching and seeing what everybody else is posting, but having nothing to share or comment on or contribute to what they have to say or what they're doing, or not actually reaching out to them, especially if you know them, to see if you can create something in the way of, business. Because I think entrepreneurship and big businesses is really important, especially with automation and how a lot of jobs will not even be there, years from now. A lot of them are already going away. So it's going to call on people to be more resourceful and getting back to, being entrepreneurs and just creating and being more producers as opposed to consumers. And I think that's one of the major shifts that can happen in society that will benefit the people. We, the people, is to be more of a producer than we are a consumer, because so many of us, and I've been one of those people for a long time, that I was consuming everything from everybody and just money leaving my pocket like as soon as I got it. And then I started to realize, like, if I'm really going to take control of my own personal economy, one of the things that has to happen is for me to start looking at being a producer. So, folks, take care of yourselves. Use these platforms for what they can do for you. And if you're comfortable being a spectator, do you. And at the same time, if you're building a brand, get out there and start. It doesn't have to be super refined and have everything all together. I know I haven't. It took me years before I finally started this YouTube channel. Get out there and make a difference. Get your product or service out there. Find out enough about those platforms and how they work. I'm about to start shooting my Instagram videos and do some more Facebook Lives. So get out there. There is a market for what you provide in the way of a product or service. And just do it with love. Have fun with it and create your dream life. That's what we're here to do. So thanks, folks. Take care of yourself and many prosperous returns.